Welcome to the Battle of the Beef Ribs. Today we are putting the Instant Pot up against the oven, and we're going to find out once and for all which method will produce the most succulent, tender ribs possible. Will the speed of the Instant Pot claim victory, or will the slow and steady oven steal the day? Hit that subscribe button and let's get cooking. For this experiment, I've got 2.5 pounds of beef back ribs. These were on sale. These are not beef short ribs. This is like the spare rib, but of the cow. So this is actually coming from the rib area. You can see the bones. Short ribs come from the chuck, a little bit more meat on top. These will have more meat in between the bone, but these were on sale. This is what I got. This is what I'm doing. To be perfectly neutral on this, I'm gonna cut these ribs in half, and we're gonna season these and treat them in the exact same way and see which ones come out better. Once your ribs are cut in half, we can move on to seasoning. You're welcome to use any barbecue seasoning that you happen to have on hand. This is what I whipped up based on what was in my pantry. I'm gonna start with a base of brown sugar. I'm gonna add half that amount in kosher salt, a little bit of onion powder, porcini mushroom powder, cayenne pepper, just because I like a little heat, barbecue seasoning, tablespoon of white sugar. I also happen to have some thyme that I just picked out of the garden, a little bit of Italian seasoning. I just like that oregano. And then lastly, plenty of fresh cracked pepper. Mix it all together with your fingers, make sure there's no big clumps. Give it a taste, see what you think. You can always tweak it from there. We're gonna make this easy. Just dump this all over the ribs. By the way, the higher you go, yeah, it makes more of a mess, but you get nice, even coverage. Just rub it in there, both sides, front and back. Make sure everything is evenly coated. For the ribs that are going in the oven, I have a sheet pan that I lined with 2 layers of aluminum foil, shiny side up. Ribs are gonna go right smack dab in the middle. We're gonna put these in the oven just like this, 250 degrees for 1 hour. You might be asking yourself, why the aluminum foil? That will come later. We've got our slow and steady ribs in the oven. I'm guessing those are gonna need about 4 hours of cooking time. Now I'm gonna start on the Instant Pot ribs. So make sure you've got that trivet that came with it, put that on the inside, because we want these ribs elevated off the bottom. Anytime you cook anything in the Instant Pot, it needs liquid to do its job. So we've got 2 cups of apple cider and 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar. The vinegar is gonna help tenderize the ribs just a little bit, and you'll see we're gonna do the same thing with the oven ribs just a little bit later on. Yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna add anything else. We've got our ribs, they go in, and then put the lid on, we're good. We're gonna set this to pressure cook, pressure level high, and I'm guessing 40 minutes should do it. For the next 40 minutes, you're free to do whatever you like. Ribs have been in the oven for about an hour. They've got a little bit of color on them. Now for the next step. Just like the Instant Pot ribs, we're gonna hit it with a little bit of apple cider and a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Then take all of your aluminum foil, wrap it up nice and tight, and make a nice little pouch all around these ribs. Then they're gonna go back in the oven for 3 more hours, and I'm gonna crank the heat up to 275 degrees. It has been 1 hour, 45 minutes of cooking time, and then 15 minutes to just let this naturally depressurize. It smells amazing in here. Let's see what we got. Seems really tender. Doesn't have the best color. It's kind of like a grayish brown color. The meat is reseeded from the bone, so it's left maybe like a 3/4 of an inch to an inch of bone showing. Actually feels like it still has a little bit of chew to it, but we are far from done. We're not gonna eat the ribs just like this. We're still gonna put a nice glaze on them, make them taste really good, get them all crispy and charred, but it's about that time to check on our oven-baked ribs. Ooh, baby. I'm gonna be honest, just from first glance, these look a lot better. The oven ribs are much darker in color. The meat has receded, I would say 2.5 inches from the bone. These look like some Fred Flintstone style ribs now. Look at this, hot, still very hot. Just judging by the color alone, which one of these would you rather eat? Drop it in the comments. These are the oven ribs, deep and golden brown, look at that. These are the Instant Pot ribs. Just kind of like gray, weird, muted color. Oven? Instant Pot. Which one would you rather eat? But you can't judge by just the colors. To finish these ribs, I'm leaving them on the sheet pan lined with aluminum foil. I have the broiler heating up as high as it'll go. But before we throw them in the oven, I'm just gonna season these ribs one more time with our seasoning that we made. This extra sugar on top is gonna help it caramelize even more under the broiler. These are gonna go in for just a few minutes. Keep a close eye on these. Don't let them burn. Personally, I would put these on a really hot grill, but not everyone has a grill, and I wanted to show you how to do this entire recipe in the comfort of your own home without the need to, say, put on pants if you didn't want to. We're not looking for crazy color here. I just wanted to get a little bit of a crust. Now we're gonna take these out, and then I've got pumpkin butter. I got this idea from our St. Louis video. If you haven't watched it, I'm gonna throw the link in the description. So we went to a place that did apple butter glazed ribs. You could certainly use apple butter, but right now it's October, so I figured why not use pumpkin butter. It's gonna caramelize really nice on the top of our ribs. Give it a nice even coating all over your ribs. The spoon's not working, just use a brush. This will get in all the nooks and crannies and stuff. Then we're putting these right back under the broiler for 5 to 7 minutes until that sugar caramelizes. And we're gonna have a really good crust on top. Ooh, baby. It all comes down to this. On the left, we've got the Instant Pot ribs that cooked in 1 hour. On the right, we've got the oven baked ribs that cooked for 4 hours. Both ribs got the exact same seasonings, the apple cider vinegar, the pumpkin butter. Now we gotta find out which one is best. I'm gonna start with the Instant Pot. Ooh, this one is a beefy rib, look at that. Here we go. Oh my God, that's really good. Flavor is amazing. Little sweetness, just a little heat. I've honestly never done the pumpkin butter thing before. It's so good. Meat comes off the bone. There's a little chew, but I mean, you can see it comes off really easily. Now for the oven ribs. These ones just have like a little bit more bark on them. Oh baby. Back to the Instant Pot ribs. Ooh, that's a hard decision. All right, you ready? The winner of the beef back rib showdown, Instant Pot versus oven. Winner is oven. I did it. I'm sorry. I love the Instant Pot. If I'm short on time, yes, Instant Pot is great. But if I've got the time, the oven are so good. You can tell the fat has just rendered out into the ribs, and it makes it just a little bit juicier. They're both very close. Don't get me wrong. Oven takes it. So we've got our and look at that. These ow. Look at this. Ah, hot, still very hot. Hot stuff. God. Whew, it's hot. Oops. Oopsies. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.